Well, this video is different from my usual content, but it is something that I like to pop in here and there, and this is a movie that I need to talk about after seeing it twice. If you have not seen Deadpool and Wolverine, do not watch this video. Do not spoil it for yourself. Go and have some fun and come back and watch after the intro. Last Wednesday, I went and saw Deadpool and Wolverine, and I had an out-of-theatre reaction with my friend Jacob, and I wasn't allowed to speak about the movie until Friday last week, and I thought, I want to see this again and see how I felt, if anything kind of changes, and it did, and it changed more and more as scenes went on. And I want to say, as someone who has watched 99% of, or probably 96% of Marvel projects over the years, and yes, it has had its downfall, there's still been some really high moments. There's been some great moments. I remember 4 years ago I put out a video speaking about all the upcoming projects announced at Comic-Con or whatever, which we've seen some news at Comic-Con, which I don't know how I feel about that new, if you know what I'm talking about. But as for Deadpool and Wolverine, I spoke about how good it was. I spoke about comparing it to No Way Home. For me, I kind of want to do a video about superhero movies and a bit of ranking for you guys as well. Maybe I need a separate channel for this, maybe. But this movie is really special. This movie is really, really special. And anyone who finds it negative, I'm not sure what type of film you expected to see. I think if you go into this film not expecting too much, you're going to come out and have a blast. The interaction between two iconic characters that I've grown up to love my entire life, whether it's comic books or on screen. Sometimes they're not always on screen together, but separately, and then they just come together and create a great dynamic. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are fantastic in their role as Deadpool and Wolverine. Spoiler alert, there are some massive cameos. There are some cameos that for the first time in a long time, I screamed, gasped, whatever you want to call it, at the movie theater. Everyone was going nuts. The first one, 1, 2, 3, Chris Evans. How the fuck did I guess that? I'm sorry, but it's absolutely outrageous to put in my predictions. Basically, what happened is I literally put out my out-of-theatre reaction video before walking in. Tom thought a Tobey Maguire cameo. I thought Chris Evans as the Human Torch. Even though it was such a big surprise, I was like, how on earth did I get that? What I did not get, though, is Wesley Snipes as Blade. This was so cool, seeing this character return after 20 years in the role, and his previous encounters with Ryan Reynolds as well, burying the hatchet there. Gambit, I still remember growing up being, 15, 16 years old, Channing Tatum talking about how excited he was for the Gambit movie, looking forward to it to come out. I was skeptical on that film back then, but I always wanted to see it. And here he is, finally getting to play that role, and he was awesome. Obviously, the English wasn't there, the Minions being the dialect coach, which was, the movie had some really, really good dialogue. But these cameos were absolutely nuts, and some of them were so unexpected. X-23 was spoiled in the trailer. I don't know why Marvel did that, man. This would have been a massive reveal if Marvel didn't do it. I know that they wanted to hype up the movie a couple days beforehand and get Daphne Keane at the premiere, but wasn't a fan of that. Elektra, back. Jennifer Garner looked really, really old in this film as well, showing that these heroes have kind of served their time as well. But man, from start to finish, this is an absolutely brilliant movie. I think the opening sequence, I think the soundtrack is so good. Sean Levy has done so well with this film, and whoever he has worked with, they've all done a fantastic job. A soundtrack of tracks like The Power of Love, Bye Bye Bye, Iris. You're never going to listen to these songs again. Like a Prayer, you're never going to listen to these songs again and not think of Deadpool and Wolverine. The big moment, one big moment for me, when Wolverine put the mask on. Now, I don't know, the CGI for me, it didn't sit as well as I probably would have liked it to, but as you can see by the t-shirt here, I have got the mask kind of as part of the t-shirt, so I guess we all knew it was kind of coming, but just when it was going to happen, and the slow motion walk of Hugh Jackman here. But man, the dialogue just sits in my head all day, repeating itself. And if you haven't seen this film and you're watching it, shame on you, because this is a ton of fun. If you're a Marvel fan, as I said, I don't necessarily think Marvel is back, and they've obviously gone down a very desperate ploy in getting Robert Downey Jr. to play Doctor Doom. Don't know how that sits with me, but this film was an absolute love letter. Everything I grew up with that was X-Men, Fantastic Four, even the bad Daredevil, Punisher, Blade, those type of low points, it was still great movies nonetheless. To see all these characters on screen come together was an absolute dream came true, and it just didn't feel like this movie was real. And from start to finish, it just had me laughing. There were so many funny moments throughout this film, and every character, even though there were so many cameos, they just seemed to serve a purpose. Another big surprise, obviously, Henry Cavill as Wolverine. A lot of people have been wanting Henry Cavill or Daniel Radcliffe to take over as Wolverine for quite a while now. We got a comic book accurate of like a short Logan as well. We got the Hulk versus Wolverine for like 4 seconds. There was just so much packed into this film, and it doesn't have the biggest runtime in the world compared to a lot of, you know, superhero films these days. But man, this was a ton of fun, and I'm not going to lie, I have always loved films like Avengers Infinity War, Spider-Man 2. I think this is one of my favorite films I've ever seen. I know that I love doing a video talking about movies at the end of the year. I don't think my opinion's going to change. I think I'll have watched this 3 or 4 times by the end. I thought the gore and the fight scenes were really, really good as well. That opening sequence to Bye 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 just playing in my head. It's hilarious. The choreography was great as well. There's just everything about this film was absolutely perfect, and there is nothing that I can think of that was negative. I know a lot of people think Cassandra Nova, the villain, wasn't great. I disagree. I think it was a really eerie villain. The fingers, you know, coming out of the skin sort of thing was really creepy. I thought it was refreshing to see a villain that I enjoyed in Marvel, because villains haven't been fantastic, I think, recently in Marvel. And you know, I knew this was going to be good, but I just didn't know it was going to be this good, and how they were able to keep some of these secrets if you did obviously stay off the internet, because obviously I have now seen that a lot of these rumors, you know, were posted a long time ago, Blade, that sort of thing, but to see it actually come on screen was absolutely nuts. And I remember being in the theatre for Avengers Endgame, Infinity War, No Way Home, and this compares to it. The way that people reacted to this movie was massive. There was some awesome... Sabertooth was obviously shown in the trailer. Toad, as a fan of X-Men and Fantastic Four in those films, that sequence at the end, the post-credit scene per se, which is a montage of 20th Century Fox and that Marvel era and what it brought, was just absolutely beautiful. To Good Riddance, Time of Your Life by Green Day. I think the soundtrack's one of the best soundtracks in a movie for a long, long time, and this was one of the best movies I've seen in a movie theatre ever, and I just feel like it has so much rewatchability. It's such a fun time. I don't understand why some people last week were having a lot of negative things to say about it, because it's so much fun. It's absolutely the best of the 3 Deadpool films. It's one of the best Marvel films I've ever seen, and I feel like it's in my top 20 movies of all time. I really, really love Deadpool and Wolverine. It is a special film. I'm obviously making a video on the channel about it, because I know you guys have wanted my reaction about these sort of cameos, things like that, and you know I've been a Marvel fan since the start, so to see this, I feel like Marvel post-credit scenes need to be back to what they were, hinting towards things in the future. We got an okay post-credit scene here. It was funny to laugh at, but I would love to see something like that Age of Ultron kind of setup that we used to see. That's one thing for me. I feel like they need to keep people in their seats and want to watch post-credit scenes. But Ryan Reynolds, some funny one-liners. Hugh Jackman, some awesome one-liners as well. A lot of emotion, as I said. You really pulled at the heartstring. A lot of action in this film. I feel like you've got to be at least 10 probably to watch this film. I know people under 10 will watch it, but that would be my age with an adult at that stage there. But Deadpool and Wolverine, it is one for the ages. This will be remembered for a long time. To see what we saw come to life, especially that comic book accuracy that we've been waiting for 20 fucking years. As Ryan Reynolds said, the costume was fantastic. Deadpool upgrade costume, fun from start to finish. Had a blast with this movie. What did you guys think of Deadpool and Wolverine? Did you think it was overhyped? Do you think it was one of the best MCU movie? Let me know if I'm right or wrong in the comments. I'd love to hear what you thought of the movie. If you haven't seen it yet, just comment why you watched this video. I know there are people that are probably watching it and I'm wondering why you watched it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you're new around here, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to try and put out a little bit of Marvel content for you guys. Maybe work on a separate channel for it. We'll see how we go. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this and I'll see you guys later.